Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Kris. Hi, I'm Kris. When I was younger, I went through trauma that caused me to feel broken and lost. But my life changed after I had a spiritual awakening. Since then, I've dedicated my life to studying and learning from masters all around the world that have helped me to create a life of fulfillment and abundance beyond my wildest dreams. Now I'm dedicated to sharing everything I've learned so that you don't have to suffer for decades like I did. I've seen people's lives completely transformed, and I share it all right here. It's Ashley for those of you who don't know me. So I am a life coach, I'm an author, I have a book coming out June 20th called Change Your Mind to Change Your Reality. And today we are going to be talking about repressed emotions. I get a lot of people asking about repressed emotions. So here's a few ways to deal with them. So step one is to acknowledge that you're feeling that emotion. Be honest with yourself. And we'll use fear as an example today. What does anger feel like in your body? What happens? Does it get tight? What happens to your posture, your breath, your muscles, your facial expressions? Where does your mind go? To let go of repressed emotions like anger, you have to feel them. So the next step is to just allow yourself to go into it and just be freaking mad. I will literally scream, punch pillows, collapse onto the floor, and pound my fist into it. Side note, don't hurt yourself. But it's so important to feel your repressed emotions. Emotions are energy in motion. And when they get stuck in your body, they don't have anywhere else to go. So they'll eat away at you. They'll cause stress. They'll cause you to lash out at the outside world. They'll cause disease, which is dis-ease. And they subconsciously drive your life. They seep into your manifesting. So only 5% of your day, you're consciously in control of your mind. The other 95%, you are driven by your subconscious programming. So if you haven't released repressed emotions and done the work to heal and get rid of old limiting beliefs and programs, then you are sabotaging yourself 95% of the day. So the first thing you have to do is express it, right? Emotions are layered, and oftentimes anger will be covering up something like sadness. So don't be surprised when, as you're expressing it, suddenly the anger will turn into sadness. And you might be screaming and swearing one minute and then collapse into a puddle of tears on the floor in the next moment. So once anger fades, that means that you've released it and you don't have to carry it around with you anymore. Once you feel like you've exhausted all of those underlying emotions, right? And they've kind of peeled away like layers of an onion, then it's time to dig in and do some work. So ask yourself, what am I angry about? It's a good rule to ask why. Why are you angry? Maybe someone said something rude, right? And then ask yourself, why does that upset you? And then keep going with these why questions until you've really uncovered the root cause. Is it you trying to control a situation that you have no control over? A lot of times when we feel angry, we're out of control, right? And people and situations won't bend to our will, and it makes us really angry and frustrated. And then finally ask yourself, what is this situation trying to teach me? What am I learning here? Maybe it's that you can't control everything, and what a great lesson that is. And then you have to look into your beliefs. And I talk a lot in my book about beliefs and how they are the driving force behind why you do the things you do and why everyone else does the things that they do. So you have to get yourself into a high vibrational state, not a reactive volatile state, when you process your beliefs. So I like to stand up and jump up and down and allow my body to get really big and throw my arms wide open and lift up through my sternum and force myself to laugh and to smile. Even let out a woohoo! It will completely change your energy. So try it right now. Pause the video if you have to. And then once you're in that peak state, ask yourself, how should I best look at the situation? Should I continue the way I have before, where I'm a victim, I feel wronged, I don't understand, I was deprived, the world was out to get me, I never had the right tools, the right education, and so on? Or is there something else you can do? Ask yourself, is my old story helping me? Is it helping me learn and grow into an even more evolved soul? And if the answer is no, then change your mind and create something that does help you. Create a new set of beliefs around it. Maybe it's that was a long time ago. That doesn't matter. It's not relevant. Those people aren't even in my life anymore. Fear and anger is an illusion. It's part of this construct. this earth school. I create my own reality and I'm a different person now. So do I really need to think about all that stuff that happened years ago and make decisions from a place of anger and fear? And when you take away that anger and take away that story, then you have to replace it with something else. What new beliefs could you tell yourself right now? Try journaling on everything you learned from the situation you were angry about. And maybe it's just that you learned how you don't want to treat other people, right? And sometimes the lesson doesn't come until years later, but we can try to take some learnings from it in the moment. Like, have you ever gone through something that was so horrible, and then years later you would never want to go through that thing again, but you're really grateful that it happened? Because it turned you into a new person, right? The person that you are now, you wouldn't be who you were now without it. And you grew so much from it, and it put you on this totally different trajectory. And a lot of times the universe is redirecting us and protecting us when we go through challenges. Maybe you weren't on the path you were meant to go on. Maybe those people involved had served their purpose in your life and couldn't follow you farther down on your path and your journey. So go to what you learned from that higher vibrational state. And when you see the lesson and change your mind, and you actually switch timelines. And this is called quantum jumping. And this isn't just woo-woo. There is science backing this. So there are always different timelines going on. And there are millions of versions of you existing across timelines on this planet in parallel lives. Every time you make a new choice, a new timeline branches out and a parallel life started where the other version of you makes the other choice. So one version of you chose the choice you did, and another version of you chose another choice. So soon each of those timelines split off into two more branches the next time those versions of you have to make a choice, and so on and so on. You can see how this just branches out. So there are practically an infinite number of timelines starring you right now as the lead actor. Some of the timelines are incredibly similar to the one you're consciously living, and some of them are vastly different. Now, quantum physics backs this up. The many worlds interpretation of quantum physics says there are many parallel worlds and universes that exist at the same time and in the same space as our own, and that all possible outcomes are physically realized in these other worlds. So electrons, which are matter, are actually waves, but they appear to us as particles once we measure and observe them. So quantum physics tells us that before we measured those electrons, they existed on a wave function. And you could think of it like a cloud or a realm of possibilities. And they could be at any possible place within that cloud. And then once we measure or observe the electron, that wave function collapses. And we see the electron as a particle in one point in time and space only. So the many worlds interpretation says that all of those other possibilities of where the electron could be within the cloud each exist in a different world from our own, in a parallel reality. So because you have healed from that anger and you let go, you jump into another timeline where you're no longer angry and you're no longer the victim. You've literally put yourself on another trajectory. So if you didn't get the lesson, you wouldn't have had this new mindset that allows you to shift and turn in a new direction. And now that you have the power of that lesson and you're on a new timeline, you get new opportunities available to you, right? And you'll be able to handle those next situations that get thrown your way, right? Because of that learning that you just achieved. So when you adopt that mindset, you become a being free of limitation. And in time, you morph into different timelines, right? And if you're listening to my channel, to my podcast, if you follow me on social media, you're probably interested in healing and growing and learning and expanding and doing something beautiful with your lifetime. You probably want to call into existence the life of your dreams, right? Where you have beautiful relationships and wealth and health and inner peace. And you're probably here to help humanity in some way, to raise the level of consciousness. And now you're even closer to that reality, right? All of these energies are really pushing you forward into this life, into the life that you are meant to live, into your purpose. Now, you can't control the world, but you can control how it affects you, right? How you respond or react. You can't control the external world, but you can control your inner world, right? And your internal world has an impact on the external world. So I hope you learned a little something about how to release repressed emotions. Please follow me on TikTok, on Instagram. I'm at Change Your Mind with Kris. I have a podcast. I have a YouTube channel, also at Change Your Mind with Kris. I think I'm at Change Your Mind with Kris Ashley on Facebook. And for a very limited time, like literally like another week only, if you head over to changeyourmind@changeyourreality.com, I have a free PDF guide that's going to help you design, create, manifest the life of your dreams. It's totally free. All you have to do is sign up for my newsletter. And then once you sign up, you'll have the option to buy a $7 little mini course, but you don't have to. You can just take the free thing and go. So I hope to see you over there. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day, everyone.